Welcome everyone to our daily Forex market analysis call in preparation for trading on August 3rd, 2017. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. And if you have questions about your individual investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. So we will start off by taking a look at our Forex factory as usual. So for today, the important news that came out so it was the non-farm, ADP non-farm employment change numbers that came out slightly negative. And going into our evening session, we have trade balance data for Australia. So generally, it should be positive. Australia is a net exporter, so it should be a positive number, but it looks like we're expecting a bit of a slowdown in the exports. So that will have an impact on Australian dollar. So tomorrow is a big day for the British pound. At 7 a.m. Eastern, we have Bank of England inflation report, first of all. And then we have MPC bank rate vote. So they're not expected to increase the interest rate at this point. However, what we are looking at here is this is the main thing that's going on at the moment. So here what we see, if we take a quick look here, this is what we have been seeing before. So nobody wanted to raise the rate. So if you look at the format here, it says XXX, which means the first number is how many MPC members voted to increase interest rate. So we had seen 00 for some time now, and now and then in March we went to 108, which means one person voted to raise rates and 8 people voted to keep the rates the same. And nobody in the middle is how many voted to decrease rates. So nobody voted to decrease rates, but what has changed, and that gave a British pound a boost, was this number in June. So in June, they were expecting the same. They were expecting that we would see the same type of forecast, or we'll see the same type of division here. We'll see one person wanting to raise rates and 7 people not wanting to raise rates, keeping it same. But in reality, that jumped to 3 people, MPC members, who wanted to raise rates and 5 who wanted to keep them the same. So looking into our forecast here, the market is expecting 2 people to actually vote for raising rates and 6 people to keep the rates the same. So what is important here is that if the number comes out like this will be negative for the British pound. So more people wanting to raise interest rates is positive for British pound, and less wanting to raise rates, it will be slightly negative for British pound. So one thing we need to keep in mind with the British pound is that there's Brexit. Brexit concerns are still in play, so they haven't gone away at this point. So for them to raise rates will not be a very responsible thing to do at this point, till the whole Brexit scenario is a little bit more, there's a better handle on that. So nobody's really expecting them to raise rates, but how the bank, what they say, will be very important. So between the monetary policy summary and how many votes are there is what's important. So that's what we have to keep in mind. And then at 7:30 a.m. we see Bank of England Governor Carney speaking. Of course, every time any of the central bankers speaks, that's very important, because first initial reaction will be seen right after the votes come out and the official bank rate comes out. After that, once Governor Carney starts speaking, he will elaborate on some of the notes in some monetary policy summary, and that's where we're likely to see a bigger movement. So that's the main highlight for tomorrow. And then we have unemployment claims for US, and then finally non-manufacturing PMI numbers. So again, they're important, but the most important numbers will be the non-farm payroll numbers that come out on Friday. So this is not as important. And then finally, we have for Australia, RBA monetary policy statement, as well as retail sales. So Reserve Bank of Australia was not very bullish on the economy when they talked earlier this week, and this here will shed some more light on what to expect from them. If this is more dovish or not as upbeat, then this will have a negative impact on Australia. So they did not raise rates, and they said basically they're not going to raise rates at this point. So that's what drove the Australian dollar lower. And if we see the same type of commentary from RBA, again, that will be negative for Australia or Australian dollar. All right, so let's move on to our charts here. All right, so we'll start off by taking a look at the euro here. So the euro had broken above the little, it had broken above this range that we had seen for some time here. And we had talked about the breakout here. So it broke out here, and now it's within this range. It went to test higher. So we haven't seen these highs for quite some time. So here, this is where we are at the moment. It went past the support and resistance. So the next level that we're looking for, so based on this, we are bullish on this. So the next level we're looking at is 1.1980. So we haven't seen these rates in quite some time, since 2014. So euro is quite stretched at the moment. So we're going all the way back to 2014 at this point. And if the non-farm numbers come out negative for the US, this is likely to shoot up higher. So based on the daily close here, this is bullish, and we can look for price to move up higher. So in terms of our pullback levels, let's go to the 4-hour chart. This is where we are. We could see a pullback all the way into 1.17 or 1.1800. So this is where we are. It could come all the way here, which is our S1 level as well. However, another level would be 1.1820 area. So about there. So this previous support and resistance level, the type of trade I'm looking for here is price to pull back into this level and then move up higher. So the first target will be 1900, 1.1900, and the next target will be the 1.1980, which is close to our R3 level. So those will be the two targets to the upside. So we're looking for price to move up higher tomorrow. Okay, moving on to the British pound here. British pound, this should be under pressure. So this is a trade that we are currently in. Price hasn't done much. So we kind of entered the trade about here. Our stop loss is at 1.3255. So it got close, but didn't quite make it to the stop loss. So I'm still in this trade. And I'm expecting the bias to be slightly negative for the British pound, really not looking for it to completely crash like we were looking at, or not have a huge drop. But still, we're looking for price to come down slightly before the central bank rate announcement. This is similar to what we had done for Australian dollar, where I was looking for price to move lower because of the RBA rate statement. I was not expecting them to increase the interest rate. So this is a similar scenario, not quite the same, because Bank of England has been a little bit more hawkish than Reserve Bank of Australia has been. But still, we're not, because of Brexit concerns, I do not see them raising rates. So if they talk about any concerns around Brexit, or they talk about the economy not being as strong, so that will have a negative impact on the British pound. So I'm going to keep the trade on right now. So if you take a look at it, we are, this is neutral to bullish. So it is in a range right now. So we have seen two tests of this level, and this is why we took the trade, because it was testing the high and we were looking for a bit of a pullback in this one. So our target here is 1.3180. So look, I'm looking for price to pull back lower. So in this case, the real levels for the test would be 131.50. So I'm looking for price to pull back lower and then move higher, or at least do one of these, go back to the top of the range, and that will be a decision point at at that point. So this is bullish to neutral at this point, but I am looking for a pullback, and then at 131.50 would be the support resistance level. We could potentially look for a long trade. Now, in this case, based on the 4-hour, we do have a bearish close on the 4-hour, so looking for price to move down lower. So the first target is 131.95, so the bottom here, and our profit target is at 85-ish level. So this is where we are. So this is what I'm expecting the price to do. If it breaks through this 131.3180 level, I'm expecting it to come down into 131.50 and then maybe go up higher. So we're bullish to neutral for the British pound. And just from 1-hour perspective, this is what I'm looking for price to come down lower. So in this case, if the price doesn't quite get to our target of 131.85, I will be looking in 13200 area, about there, to see if we need to get out of the trade. But I do expect it to come down slightly lower, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, Australian dollar. So Australia, like I said, Reserve Bank of Australia wasn't that keen on raising rates. They did speak positively about the economy, but they were concerned that we may not see the similar situation playing out. So they had certain concerns. So as a result, they were negative, and that's why we saw price drop. And we are still, my biases for this one is still to the downside, because we have monetary policy coming out this tonight in this session, so which is really a follow-up on the central bank announcement earlier. So this is expected to be, I'm expecting it to be negative for the Australian dollar, so I'm expecting it to come lower. So 0.7900 is where I'm expecting the price to come down towards. The daily close is very, very neutral. We have pins on both sides and small candle body. So as a result, very, very neutral close for the day. But because the bias is already to the downside, I'm expecting it to follow through in that direction. So this is what we see. Price did a double top here, and now I'm looking for it to come down into 7,900 level. So this is bearish here. So my bias is to the downside for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar here, we have seen a bearish close for the day. So the daily close is very bearish. Based on that, we're looking for price to move back lower. And in this case, the target here will be 73.70 level. So this support and resistance, as we can see, this is a strong level. Price had gone into this and pushed back from there. So generally, when you have a strong level like this, it will react on the other side as well. So resistance will turn into support. So I'm looking for price to come back lower. So in case it doesn't get there today, the first support level is kind of where it is right now, 7,400. But looking for it to go down a little bit further into the 73.70-ish area, or even lower into 73.50 area. So let's keep it up at right there. So that I like this area. So bias is to the downside on New Zealand dollar. And if we go into here, as we can see, price has broken below this previous level. It did a test on, as we can see, same level as the other side, and now looking for a continuation lower. Dollar CAD here. Dollar CAD, we had oil inventories came out. There was a drawdown, but the drawdown wasn't as strong as market had expected, but nonetheless, it was a drawdown, and as a result, we saw this drop in dollar CAD. And based on the daily close here, though, we were bullish on it yesterday, and it is into our level that we had marked up to the upside there. So we are into the top of that range that we had talked about. So we are right into resistance. At this point, this becomes an interesting one here. If it does not manage to break this resistance here, then we're looking for price to come back into the range again. But if the price does break through this 125.80 level, then we're looking for price to move to the next target. So daily close is bullish, but it is into resistance, which makes us a little bit cautious on this one. So the next target to the upside will be 126.50. So that's where I'm expecting the price to go. But if it does not break this level at 125.80, I'm looking for it to come back towards the middle of the range and looking for it to continue into the bottom of the range here. But right now, the daily close is bullish. So this is where we are. We have seen quite a bit of a drop in this, and now price is starting to make lower highs. And as a result, we're looking for it to go upwards here. That's why we are bullish on this. This is what we had talked about. I think it was in euro yen yesterday. So bit of this triangle, so ascending triangle. So this is our support and resistance level right here. Price is holding above this and pushing into this upwards level. And generally what happens with ascending triangle is we see one of these, price breaks above, back test, and goes up higher. So this is the type of scenario we're looking for. If it doesn't do that, if the resistance is very strong, we may get one of these, and then price comes down towards the middle of the range and finally hits the bottom here. So this is what we have to be mindful of. If price does this double, triple top here, then chances are it's going to move lower. But the bias for now is to the upside. Euro Swiss here. The other day we had talked about how even though we had a red candle here, it wasn't a completely engulfing candle and it was holding above this previous level. That's why it was bullish. And as we see, we did get a big break of this resistance level. So now we have a big bullish candle, and as a result, we are certainly bullish on this one. And I'm expecting the price to move up higher. And I think we need to go into our weekly candle here just so we can see where the next level is. Okay, so the next level is 1.1500 for this one. So since it's a big candle, we're looking for a pullback, and 1.1450, this is a good level for a pullback. So the trade that we are looking for is price to pull down into this level, hold above, and then go up higher. So the target is 15. Let me just bring it lower here. So the target is, so 1.1500 is kind of where we are. So let me just go back out again to find the next target. We are filling this inefficiency. So a few days ago, we had talked about how price has started filling this inefficiency. See how it's moving up higher? So we are looking for price to eventually get up here. But for tomorrow, we could see the price get into 1.1700, which is quite a stretch. But we do have open space for it. So 1595 is the first, maybe closer. 1550, let's set 1550 as the target. So if we go back into our 4 hours, I'm looking for price to pull back lower here into 1450 and then go all the way up into 1550. So that's the move that I was drawing before, this type of a move. So this resistance becomes support. It will act as support, and we're looking for price to go up higher. So overall, we are bullish on Euro Swiss franc. So looking for a pullback into this level. As we can see, that's a nice support level there, or nice resistance level, which can act as support. Euro yen here, this is where we saw the break. We were looking at price coiling into the top of the range here and forming in that ascending triangle. And now we are bullish on this. The next level for targeting would be 131.50, which is the top of that range, or top of that candle there. So the next one is 132.25. So this is where, Walter, this was your trade, right? The big trade for today. So price broke up. See how price broke up through this level here. It broke this was a breakout trade. Price broke through the top, through to the top side, and now we're looking for price to come back and test this level. So I'm looking for price to come back into 130.60-ish level, but because it's quite, yeah, so we could get that. So we're not that far actually, so we could get that pullback. So I'm looking for price to, ideally, this is what we're looking for, price to pull back and then push up higher. First target being 131.50, and the next target will be, so next target is 132.20 level, which is right into these R3 levels that we have from before. But based on the daily close here, we are quite bullish on this. So we could see price come back into 130.60. If it doesn't come that far, 130.80 is a good level for a pullback as well. So we could see price come down here and then take off to the upside. So bullish on that. Pound Swiss, same story. We are bullish on this. That's a big candle close to the upside, and next target, so this is where we got to, and the next target now is this one right here. So 128.80 will be the next target to the upside. In terms of the pullback, we are looking at potentially, so that's quite far, 127.80 or even into 12800 makes a nice pullback level, and then we're looking for further move to the upside. This is where we are, and that's our level to here. That's probably better, 12800 approximately. So we're looking for that pullback and further move to the upside. So bullish on that. Pound yen here, this is where we are, bullish, very big bullish close for the day. And now we are looking for a further move to the upside. So in this case, the next target is 147.20. So this will be the next target here. Before that, we are likely to get a pullback, and 146.20 area looks good for a pullback, or even slightly lower into 14600 approximately. So looking for a pullback and then a further move to the upside. We are coming closer to the resistance now. So this was a big resistance area. What that means is we could get deeper pullbacks in this. So we'll have to be careful with this one. But the daily close is bullish, and we're looking for further move to the upside. Dollar, Swiss franc as well. We had a neutral day, and price was holding above this previous resistance level, and now we're looking for further move to the upside. So 0.9770 is the target to the upside, which is this support and resistance. So bullish for dollar Swiss franc as well. Dollar yen looks bullish based on the daily close. This is bullish, and the next target is 111.80. So that's bullish, but do keep in mind that this is strong support here, which is going to turn resistance. So we do have to be careful with this one as well, but it is bullish. Euro pound here, Euro pound, we are in a range, and we remain range bound in this one. So that's our range. If price goes into the top here, 89.80, we are looking for a potential sell, looking for price to come back down. And if it goes into 0.8900, we're looking for a potential buy. So price to bounce off back towards the middle of the range there. And Euro Aussie, very bullish close for the day. We had a bullish pin bar yesterday. We talked about that, and we were looking for this to be bullish. So it is, especially with RBA this evening. This is quite bullish. Next target would be into 149.20, the 30 area right here. And beyond that, we are looking for 149.90, so about 1.50. So that will be our next two targets to the upside. This is looking very bullish close for the day, and looks like it wants to move further. All right, so that's all I have. Any questions or comments? Anything to add? Okay, perfect. Excellent. So that's it. We'll call it a wrap.